Guys, game number 2 currently underway. Spawning in the top right corner of the map, the red Zerg player. Down in the series, we'll see if he can turn it around. No regrets.
In the bottom left, as the blue PatchToss, it's PatchToss.
Alright, so PatchToss, man, that first attack looked a little bit, call it weak. Hit like a bit of a wet noodle. Got cleaned up by the Lings really quickly. But, you know, that second attack, the warping of the sentries, the more zealots, I really don't think any of that would have been nearly as effective if he didn't go for that +1. And I only bring this up because, yeah, the +1 was really awkwardly timed. You know, normally that's set for the first attack, and you've got full force. You know, you go all or nothing. But he kind of went like 1 foot in, tested the water. The Lings told him it was cold, so he backed out until he's ready to go with that +1. And while it did still work for him, there was an incredibly strange timing on it for it.
Well, no regrets. Maybe he could have gotten the Roach Warren faster. Maybe he should have. Maybe if he got the Roach Warren at a decent time, he should have gotten the Roaches faster. He looked like he thought he might be set with the Spinecrawler and Queens and Lynx. And as we saw, it wasn't. I mean, honestly, PatchToss looked lined up to win that game, so it kind of is in like he did everything aligned correctly in the end, which is nice for PatchToss. But no regret. Certainly seemed like he could have had a fighting chance if he just, you know, gotten the Roaches earlier, gotten a few more Spinecrawlers to really help out against those Zealots. On a situation where he just really wasn't looking for a good mid-macro game. That third base being where it was. Ugh, that would have been scary to continue on with.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's just take a hypothetical here where maybe PatchToss had backed up and gone for a Colossus build. Although, from what I'm gathering in chat today, maybe that wouldn't be in his books, but had he done that, there's just so many ways you could abuse that base with taking 0 to, like, very little to no threat yourself. To yourself, rather. Now, this map, though, cross spawns, I wouldn't say is particular advantageous for one or the other, but I think this is one of those small times where we're not going to have the rocks and these weird walls in the middle be such a heavy influence. You know, when we get these vertical or horizontal spawns, we sometimes see these weird pathings due to the map layout, and well, it's a small detail. Sometimes we've seen Hydras given away 4 at a time, Immortals being out of position. This game, though, should be a little bit more just, you know, even as cross to cross.
But we do have a lot of opportunities to plant down pylons without being seen, which is quite unfortunate for No Regret. There's just not much you can do, you know, with Overlord coverage to cover every single nook and cranny on this pretty big map. He's going to get decently timed speed, not the fastest. He get, you know, 3 hatch before... Was it 3 hatch before pull, yeah? But anyways, as long as he gets speed, you know, at a pretty decent timing, really early or medium, it's going to be nice. You know, it's the end result. It's going to be nice to go ahead and send those Lings around and actually have the speed, you know, actually available to send them around without giving them too much away to scout for those proxy pylons and whatnot. Because the proxy pylon doesn't only alert you to, like, you know, potential warping locations, it alerts you that they are planning on warping in. And if your Overlord didn't see the 6 gateways, well, maybe that pylon tells you should look for it anyways.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big thing for NoRegret too, just thinking back to that game, actually. The pylon of the cannon coming up, kind of, you know, the Overlord spread was not good. The scouting information was not there initially. Maybe it's not the same case, but still, it was definitely a problem in that last game. But 2 things to shout out. 1, Lee Omen for his 6-month resub. Thank you very much for coming back to the channel. And secondly, hell yeah to Suede, bringing up how, like, I remember it was like day 2 or whatever of Deadwing, and I was like, oh yeah, the 4th place will be taken as the 3rd, because it's like Yansu. And everyone's like, no, you're an idiot. And then everyone started doing it, so thank you, Suede. You got my back. I love you, man.
I never thought it was a really stupid thing to say.
No, not you. Everyone else. Rivka's got no game knowledge. What's up? But all silliness aside, though, I do really like this map, and I do think, like, you put the 2 best players on this map, you know, whether it's the narrower choke, whether it's the base layouts, whether it's the wideness that is this map, what I love is I look at this map and I don't see anything that's too abusive. Like, there's no way Blink gets really overly used here in a main base fight for a Terran player to have to worry about. I mean, we saw the Warp Prism earlier with the Immortal all in, and that's another can of worms. But even in the middle of the map, there's areas where you can kind of find walls to back up against, to create chokes in. Zerg don't have this free reign of the map, yet it's open enough for them to still have good fighting areas. And there's no place that you can really be like, oh yeah, that one grid space ramp got force fielded off, Protoss OP. Like, I love the, I guess, equality factor on it. Does force that recall out there pretty quick, and following it up with an Oracle.
You know, I might not love this map as much as you do now, but I do recall that when everyone was like, oh no, why is this in the map below? I was like, I kind of liked it in the Team Liquid contest, so I thought it was okay.
I still want Ganymede, guys.
Yeah, it might still be better to have Ganymede in there, but
Ganymede or Riot.
yeah, I think you brought up a good point that they just didn't want another 2-player map. But oh well. We do have an Oracle on the way and a third base. Hey-oh, third base, what? But you know, +1 is about to finish up. There's got no proxy pylons yet, and not a whole lot of Overlord coverage. So I mean, I feel like you could just put them out there just to have them later on too. It's you know, NoRegret's gonna scout the third base, and he's not gonna have to worry about necessarily scouting for those pylons.
Oracle, she already saw though. I mean, when the Mothership Core got recalled, he already knew that there wasn't going to be a lot of defense. So coming in here for about 5 or 6 kills, maybe 7 if he's really lucky. I can't imagine it's worth sacrificing the Oracle though. Going heavy though.
9, 10, 11.
I don't know. 11 kills is nice, but is that worth losing the Oracle? I mean, Envision sticking around, another Oracle on the way. I guess is maybe why he's okay to lose that first one, but.
Yeah, exactly. You know, as long as you can have the revelation somewhere, then it's okay. Without the revelation, you just feel really in the dark. I mean, you don't have a robo, you don't have observers. And even then, observers aren't as dependable as maybe versus Terran, because overseers, if the Zerg is on top of things, will be following an army that has, you know, Hydras in it or Corruptors or Mutas.
I don't know how many kills this one's going to get. He already was low coming into it from the other queen, so.
He is going to sacrifice. That's just so, that is dangerous.
But see, this is the problem. It going down, he didn't see the Ling spawn. He didn't see this big all-in coming across the map. That was scouting information. Oh, so valuable because of the third base. Now, there are sentries up here, and the natural's probably not going to be broken anytime soon, but this third is so scary to look at, and that's not even a full wall off. Oh, my God.
Hey.
Okay, well, for those who don't know, you can fully wall this off with a very small amount of buildings, but I guess... His PatchToss didn't quite nail it with the pylon. Oh dear, that's actually quite horrible. Foot on overcharge, not gonna get a lot done. Probes in the main getting just shreked. Third base under attack now too. 2 cannons over here, though. Thank goodness we'll be able to clean up those Lings eventually. But this was a lot more damage done for what should have been almost nothing from those Lings.
Yeah, I agree. He was set up to deal with a Ling attack very well.
Oh, nice kill on the pylon. Not only gonna unpower 2 to 3 gateways, that cancels the warpins that were desperately needed for this.
Well, I mean, he does clean up eventually, and in the end, he, you know, is still a decent probe count of 54 as last we pop out here. His tech was not killed or anything, so Blink and +2 about to finish right on time. Only gonna be on 6 gateways. I'm surprised I don't see a robo as well. Oh, well, there's 2 more gateways. You know, I kind of expected PatchToss to go for like a 3-base all-in basically with Blink Stalkers, but I think that Ling attack did hang up on it a little bit. More sentries broke down too.
I mean, awkward wall is awkward. He's put about 4 or 5 zealots there just because he doesn't know if it's fully walled off or not. But the Cyber Core exposed the way it is. No sentries available for force fields. This base still covered by cannons, so not so bad at the 30. You can just kind of ignore it, I guess. But this is still Lings. Lings 12 minutes in the game should not be doing this much chaos.
No, and it did really mess up the build. While Blink and +2 weren't messed up, and that's great, at least they didn't like lose the Forge or anything, everything else is. You know, the gateways are mistimed. He hasn't been warping in Stalkers this entire time, so he's actually starting at, you know, base like 0 Stalkers, and now he has to get to a sizable army to attack to do it. Well, in this case, defend, actually, because NoRegret's ready with the second coming of the Hydras and Lings this time.
Yeah, the Hydras,
I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
The Hydras don't really change the game up. If those sentries earlier had not died, he'd still, like, you know, let's assume he's on full sentries, 11 sentries. It's still going to be hard to deal with this many Hydras, and that's a lot of Hydras.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, the sentry count, if it was higher, would actually be so much better. Even these force fields already getting a couple of Hydras. It's nice.
It's imperative, I'd say, not just nice, because the second these consolidate in full force, it's really bad for PatchToss.
It's all of his force fields, though. He is actually out right now. Well, this is not looking so good.
No. But this is kind of good for NoRegret's sake. I mean, he is behind in the series. Let's not forget this is game 2 after all, and he really needs this win.
I think he does need to add some more fodder, though. Or maybe not. I mean, it would be safer if he had a couple of Lings in here to soak up the damage, but even still, maybe the Hydra damage is gonna reach over? No, maybe not.
It's macro, for that I'd say this, right? His macro might be what ends up bringing this back for NoRegret, though. He's got a lot coming behind this, but you're right. He is fighting with small forces right now. However, he took out all the Zealots, he took out all the Sentries. Now it's just Blink Stalkers, and this is where those Ling reinforcements become more and more important. He stopped the snowball of PatchToss as well.
You can imagine what would happen if everything had gone according to plan for PatchToss. You know, you didn't start out this attack that turned into a defense with 0 stalkers. You would have had like, 12 or 15 that had been working this entire time. And then suddenly it's, 30 stalkers, not 15 that are attacking. And Hydras, without help, without roaches or lings, do actually go down to that.
Yeah.
With or without force fields too. Like, +2 can be pretty powerful, but force fields included, then absolutely they go down. Like, PatchToss had a good plan in this game, but it just went to kaput when the lings got in there.
I mean, right from the get-go, I didn't love the way he had over-invested the oracles. It was just kind of a silly way to use his units. And yeah, you're right. After that, the lings getting in kind of just made it worse. But trying to get away from this, the stalkers are killing the lings off and realizing he's running out of cannon fodder, does start backing up with the hydras. Sadly, though, NoRegret was making 12 more hydras behind this. Now, normally that wouldn't be so bad, but he's supply blocks, so he can't make more lings. His army's kind of slow, and with the cross spawns being what they are, no creep spread, it's just hard to get 12 more hydras across the map. What he needs is not one big strong army, but immediate reinforcements. So that's why he had to back away from this and sadly give up his momentum there.
Yeah, but it is, the length of Cactus Valley cross position kind of playing into both favor and disfavor, I guess. The Hydras, as slow as they aren't really used to retreating, but they're allowed to because PatchToss is really still reeling off the back of the attack. He doesn't want to, chase after them. But if he does lose all the Hydras, maybe he'll have time to replenish. But we do have, I thought maybe a little bit of base trade, but PatchToss does come back to defend his third.
That's a lot of Hydras. It's like Brute War styles. There's other units now, right?
You're right.
Gonna focus on the Nexus. That'll be really nice. Gets to the gateway steel, blinking forward
forward
into the Hydras. Never something you should do unless you have an army supply of like 3-1. So he loses a lot of the stalkers on this. And the thing about the stalkers is, even if they win this fight, which it doesn't look like they're going to do, the idea is that these units need to snowball. You need a lot of them. You can't trade them inefficiently, much less even evenly. They have to take good engagements every single time to stay effective. But GG is going to be called, and NoRegret will tie up the series 1-1. No regrets on going Hydras. Alright, that being said, guys, we are going to take